All right, today we're going to step into one of the most high-pressure, fast-paced worlds you can imagine, the world of a day trader. And look, this isn't just about numbers flickering on a screen. It's a full-on mental battlefield. It's got its own language, its own set of rules, and a ton of psychological traps. To give you a taste of what I mean, just listen to this. Chasing the whale? What in the world does that mean, right? This quote, it's pulled straight from a trader's daily recap, and it just throws us right into the deep end. It sounds like a totally foreign language, but believe it or not, this is the key to understanding the strategy, the wins, and the losses of a day on the market. So, if we really want to get inside a trader's head, to understand the decisions they make under all that pressure, we have to start by learning to speak their language. We've got to unpack the playbook they use to read the market's every little move, and it all starts with a few core ideas. First up, we've got something called the Fab Four. Think of this as the rule book for the most insane part of the trading day, the first 30 minutes. I mean, the market open is just pure chaos, and the Fab Four strategy basically creates these clear lines in the sand. It draws a boundary that tells the trader, hey, don't trade inside the zone. You wait for a clear move above it or below it. It's really just a tool for discipline.
Okay, next term, the elephant bar. Imagine you're watching a football game, and one team just makes this huge, game-changing power play that completely shifts the momentum. Well, that's an elephant bar on a trading chart. It's a price move so big and so powerful that it's basically screaming, pay attention. It shows real conviction in the market, and a lot of the time, it creates an opportunity you just can't ignore.
And that brings us to the whale. This is it. This is the trophy every single trader is hunting for. It's that one perfect trade where everything lines up, the signal, the entry, the momentum, and it just results in a massive win. You know, catching a whale can make your entire day, sometimes even your whole week. It is the ultimate prize. Now, beyond those big ideas, traders are constantly on the lookout for very specific patterns or signals, and you can think of these kind of like traffic lights. Something like a position of power or a bull 180. Those are green lights. They're telling you to buy. On the flip side, you get patterns like a triple top or a bear 180, and those are just flashing red lights, signaling it's probably time to sell. Knowing these patterns, that's the technical side of the job. But, and this is absolutely crucial, knowing all the rules, that's the easy part. The real challenge, the thing that separates the people who make it from the people who don't, is the mental game. It is a constant, brutal battle between your strategy and your own raw human emotion. And the first enemy you face is your own ego. This quote just says it all. In his own words, our trader here is admitting that his ego gets in the way. It's that little voice in your head that whispers, you have to be right, and it's what makes you hold on to a losing trade way too long, just hoping it'll turn around, instead of doing what your plan says and just cutting the loss. The second big enemy? Being a P&L watcher. P&L, that just stands for profit and loss. And I want you to imagine watching your bank account balance flashing up and down every single second in real time. That's what this is. When you fixate on that number, it creates fear when you're losing and greed when you're winning, and it just leads to purely emotional decisions, not strategic ones. So you can see how all these mental hurdles just start to stack up, right? You got your ego screaming that it has to be right, you're on this emotional roller coaster from watching your P&L, and then there's this huge gap between knowing what you should do and actually doing it under the crazy pressure of real-time execution. And this quote from our trader just sums it all up perfectly. I mean, looking back at a chart after the day is over, it's so easy to see all the right moves. But making those exact same calls in the moment, when real money's on the line and the screen is just flashing red and green, wow, that is a completely different skill. Okay, so we've got the technical playbook, and we've got the psychological battlefield. So now, let's see how they actually collide in some real trades. We're going to break down a huge win and then a messy, more typical trade, just to see all this theory in action.
Okay, here it is, the perfect trade. This is the absolute dream scenario. First, a super clear signal appears on the screen, a massive elephant bar. The trader acts on it, no hesitation, buys right into that powerful momentum. Then comes the really hard part, managing the trade, which means letting the winner keep running, not getting scared and cashing out too early. And the result? Boom, a whale is caught. A huge success.
But now, let's look at reality, which is often a lot messier. In this trade, the trader misreads a signal and jumps into a position that immediately goes wrong. But instead of letting his ego take over, he does something called a stop and reverse. He instantly cuts his loss and flips his position to go the other way. He ends up salvaging the trade, but he calls it pointless because it was totally reactive and messy, not strategic. This is the daily grind.
And all of this brings us to a really crucial understanding of what trading actually is. It's not some single event, and it's definitely not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a never-ending game. It's a constant, daily pursuit of mastering the market and, maybe more importantly, mastering yourself.
Our trader mentions he's about 11 months into this journey, and even after almost a year of intense, daily focus, he says he has so much more room to grow. And that just shows you trading is a discipline you build over thousands of hours. It's not something you just master over a weekend.
So really, the ultimate takeaway here is that success is not defined by catching that one whale. It's about the relentless pursuit of a disciplined process. It's about knowing your playbook, controlling your emotional reactions, and then just doing it over and over and over again. And honestly, the trader himself says it best. The hardest part isn't learning the rules. It's internalizing those rules so deeply that making the right decision in the heat of the moment becomes completely automatic, just like muscle memory. And that is the long, difficult path to becoming consistent.
Which kind of leaves us with this one last thought to chew on. In a job where the game completely resets every single morning, where there's no finish line, no final score, how do you actually define a win? Is it just about the money? Or is it about the flawless execution of your process, no matter what the outcome is? That's the question at the very heart of every trader's mind.